I think every game that the Bears play this year is going to be exciting just because of the amount of goddamn hype around Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
And he's handling his interviews so well. I've been
Yeah,
watching a lot of them.
Yeah.
He is a very smart, well put together man.
The Chicago Bears last season, they ranked 22nd in defensive adjusted weight value. They were just having a look at their offensively, they were 22nd. Defensively, they were 17th. And this was a team that really improved over the back half of the season as well defensively. They started playing a lot more games, sort of a lot more competitively. In fact, they lost to Green Bay week 18 and Cleveland week 15, but they were 4-2 over the back half.
They were on fire on the back half. Justin Fields was playing lights out football.
Yeah, he was great to bet on.
Such a shame. Such a shame that he's gone. But you know what?
Yeah, he was one of our darlings,
he'll have a good career in Pittsburgh.
Always such good value. His lines were always around 178 and a half, 195. Do you remember the start of the season? Season, first 5-6 weeks, we were betting on him like crazy because his lines were 185 and a half, and he was smashing past them.
Smashing them. Yeah. And DJ Moore, DJ Moore was like 44 yards the one game, and he doubled it in the first half.
Oh, and the books would never increase it. They were too scared to, and he just kept going past them. Other than that Kansas City game where they got absolutely blown out, they were smashing it. They were a great team to bet on.
They were.
If you believed in them as well. So check this out. I mean, they after the first 4 weeks, so they weren't very good the first 4 weeks, but then basically from week 5 onwards, they covered the spread. What was this, like 10 times? Most of their games, not all of their games were going over, but they did improve defensively. We'll talk about some of their additions and what was working really well. Jalen Johnson became an absolute stud corner. He was like playing, I think he was like the top 1 or 2 corners in the league. He was shutting down everybody. So they gave him a really nice contract extension as well. So
he's a rich man.
Yeah.
He's a rich
man.
He
came out of nowhere. He was nothing in 2022. And he played really
That was a great year.
Yeah.
That was a great year. Yeah, and so obviously from the defensive side, they made a couple really nice additions and addition by locking up their players and giving them comfort. Yeah. But the offensive side had the biggest movement, starting with the departure of Justin Fields, their quarterback, and bringing in Caleb Williams, the number 1 pick. So aside from that, they brought in everybody's new. Except for a tight one tight end and DJ Moore, right? Like their weapons have
fantasy last
changed.
Year before the season, I was selling Justin Fields anywhere I could because people had him as like a top 5 fantasy option in Dynasty, and I just didn't see it, man. Because for me, it was like if you're betting on Justin Fields, you're betting on the Chicago Bears, and I didn't think that they were going to win too many games. And sure enough, I mean, they got bailed out by the Carolina pick, but I think it was a good move to move on from him as well. So they in the draft, they added Caleb Williams, obviously with the first pick. They added Rome Odunze with the 9th pick.
Stud.
Then they actually didn't have too many picks. They only ended up with, because they kept trading them for.
They kept trading them.
They added Montez Sweat, and people thought that was a bad trade. That turned out to be a very good trade. Yeah,
very good trade,
really well, and he really boosted that Bears defense. They added
DeAndre Swift.
I got to shout out my Australian compadre counterpart, Torrey Taylor. They drafted with their final pick in the 4th round as well. He's a fantastic punter from Australia, so I'm excited to see him join the league as well.
He's going to be punting. even though Caleb Williams came out and said, you're not going to be punting.
Yeah. After they drafted him, Caleb messaged him and said, like, glad you're on the team, but you're not going to be punting very much. So good, man. I love Caleb Williams. He's so good. So let's talk about some of these additions. You want to start at receiver or running back?
Well, let's go with the aged veteran, the sure hands 11 plus targets a game hog. Coming from the Chargers, Keenan Allen. Never been a humongous Keenan Allen as a WR1
Really,
fan.
I love Keenan Allen.
Great receiver. I just always thought as the WR1 is like the guy who's got all the attention. He still managed to catch everything, but he's in a great spot right now. Great spot.
So I don't agree with this take.
Okay.
The reason I don't agree is because he's going from Justin Herbert,
Mm-hmm.
top 5 quarterback in the league, to Caleb Williams, who will be good one day, but rookies come out very slow. Doesn't matter.
They're going to struggle. Yeah.
The only one, basically, the only rookies who never did was CJ Stroud last season, had an all-time season. Justin Herbert was very good. Joe Burrow was good until he tore his ACL. Like it basically never happens. Trevor Lawrence struggled. Trying to think, like Jared Goff didn't get his career going until Detroit. Like these number 1 picks, they take longer than people expect to get going. We don't need to read
definitely
Bryce Young last season.
Don't get me wrong. Keenan Allen's going to finish with substantially less fantasy points than he had with the Chargers.
Yeah.
However, I think he's in a great spot in his career with where he's at in his career, and by mentoring all these receivers, being a guy that's going to be dependent on, like very much like an Anquan Bolden when he was in his last few years, really depended on to make those third down catches. A guy that, he will not have the attention on him like he did, and you take one less guy covering him. I don't care how old he is. It's the hands and the footwork, like he'll get open in a phone booth. So, I think touchdown count might go up.
Really? No. I agree. I do agree with a lot of what you're saying, but I'm just not sure about production.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm not going to bet on it. I just think I think they're going to utilize him for a lot of those sure catch situations. And I think it does, if you decide that you want to slip a safety down to watch out for him, then you've got 2 very, very good wide receivers on the outsides.
That's true.
Very good wide receivers.
I can't remember who was Keenan Allen playing alongside when he first came into the league. Like before they got Mike Williams and he was the guy. I can't remember who their
that's a long time ago. That is a long time ago.
I wish I could remember. I can't. I'm sorry. I'll have to look at it later. What I do love about what you're saying is my comp for Rome Odunze in the pre-draft process was Keenan Allen. And when they brought in Keenan Allen, I was like, this is perfect for Rome. This is the perfect person to turn into, because I think they have exceptional route running ability. They play over the middle of the field and on the outside really well. They're not the fastest, and that's fine, but their hands are so good. Their contested catch is so good. I think that's the perfect person for Rome Odunze. And this is why I drafted him over Malik Neighbors, is for this reason. I think Malik Neighbors is probably going to have a better rookie season, but long term, I think that Rome Odunze is going to be the guy. Eventually, they will move on from DJ Moore and Keenan Allen. He'll have Caleb Williams. He'll be like a fully fledged quarterback, and this will be a good team. And I just love that position that Rome Odunze finds himself in.
I agree with that take. Yeah, wholeheartly. Do I think that he's going to have the season that everybody thinks he is? I think he's going to land a little under where they have him ranked.
Yeah,
but it's going to be a great year. I think it's going to be a great year for him. Honestly, there's a lot of mouths to feed on this team.
Yeah,
and with the addition of DeAndre Swift, where I was watching a couple podcasts, fantasy podcasts, where they were beating up the name of DeAndre Swift for this season and saying they don't think he's going to have the season, a good season. And there's too much competition there with, Herbert and Roschon Johnson.
I agree with that.
There is a lot of competition. But I think they brought him in. They brought him in for the first and second down. And I think they're going to be doing a ton of passing on first and second down, honestly.
Yeah, I think whatever his catching line is, his receptions line, give me the over.
That's what I would take. Give me the over on that. That's what I feel pretty confident
about. I'd be
betting
under his rushing totals.
His rushing totals, definitely. But the receiving line, I don't know what it is. I want to say it's probably going to be somewhere around 300. I'm going to go look right now.
Have a look. And what I can tell you about their win total for the season is we're going to be looking at 8.5 is their line.
Too high for me. Too rich.
That's high for a rookie quarterback.
That's too high.
That's high.
By the way, Swift is at 271 for receiving yards.
Wow, man, over. How many
Yeah, that's what I'm
yards
saying.
a game?
So 271 divided by 18, you're
17.
15th. No, by 17, sorry. 281 divided by 17. Yeah,
It's
what am I talking about? You're
50.
60, you 60, 16 and a half.
Okay, so
Yeah, give me the over.
he misses like 3 or 4 games to injury. Like that's still not a bad line. That's like 20 to 25. Okay, now
Yeah.
that we're talking it out, it's starting to be a bit more concerning. If he plays, let's say he plays 13 games, that's 20 receiving yards a game. It's
He's
interesting.
gonna have a couple. He's gonna have a couple games. He's gonna have a couple games where he's in the 30 yard.
Yeah, I think
You
so.
know, so yeah, I feel good about that.
So we're
That's what
definitely
I think.
seeing,
That's my pick.
yeah, over on passing attempts as well. Because I think that
Yeah,
they've still got Khalil Herbert. Although I did hear that they did try to move him in the offseason and they were not able to. So they kept him Khalil Herbert around, and then they've still got Roschon Johnson,
who's a great running back.
who's a great running back. Yeah, he had a great season in college behind Bijan Robinson. Oh, sorry, not behind, but like alongside. And I think
He's
they've
turned
only got
into
them.
quite the third down back. He's turned
Yeah,
into quite the third down back. I like him in that spot.
yeah. So at tight end, still got Cole Kmet. They brought in Gerald Everett. I really love that addition. And I mean, obviously, Cole Kmet is probably one of the better tight. Like he's really, I don't think he's worth his contract. His contract's sort of around $40 million from memory that he signed a couple of years ago. But he is still a very, very good tight end.
Mm-hmm. You're right. Yeah, and hey, it's interesting to see what happens with the relationships with Caleb. Right, like he'll
Yeah,
have he'll have the players that he looks to early and often.
yeah,
I think the running back is safe in that situation.
yeah.
I don't think it doesn't matter your relationship so much as it does your bailout,
Right.
your satellite. And yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway, give me Swift over 270.
it's not a bad line. And then at receiver, so DJ Moore, they keep. He's been an amazing addition for them. Rome Odunze, we just talked about, and Keenan Allen. Um, they after that, it's a pretty steep drop off. They've got Dante Pettis still kicking around, and Valus Jones, who they drafted a couple of
He's
years ago.
Velus Jones.
Tyler
Yeah,
Scott's an interesting deep sleeper as well. He had a pretty good season to finish last year.
really going to need a couple injuries in order to make that happen, right?
Yeah, one of the things that people are talking about, sort of on various podcasts I listen to, is like while I say that rookie quarterbacks always take a long time to get off the ground. This is sort of like the first time that we've ever seen a rookie quarterback have 3 legit stud options. Like if you think about Bryce Young never had that. CJ Stroud had a good season, but he really unlocked
Joe Burrow had it.
But that was before. Well, who did he have? He had T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd.
AJ Green was on his last year there. I'm pretty sure when he arrived.
But I felt like he was past it though. Potentially.
Yeah,
Yeah, Justin
yeah.
Herbert had Keenan Allen and Mike Williams, but like other than those guys, it's been pretty difficult for most rookie quarterbacks to also obviously a lot of them have had good options, but I mean Justin Fields was never afforded this luxury that Caleb Williams has.
No, it's
Justin
true.
Fields,
It's
rookie
true.
receiver one was like Darnell Mooney.
Yeah, that's true. It was. It was Darnell Mooney. It was Darnell Mooney. Oh, oh,
Oh, and Allen Robinson.
oh
Jeez,
yeah. That experiment did not
did not work.
work.
So
It did not work.
yeah, be interesting team. Offensively, I think they're going to be throwing the ball a ton. So
Mhm.
I wonder what Caleb Williams passing.
It's got to be four grand. It has to
Yeah,
be.
I think it
I'm gonna
will
go
be,
look. I'm gonna
which
go look
is
right now.
probably too much. Have a look because I'm interested in especially these first couple of games. So the first,
No, they got him under. It's 3,800.
okay, 3,800. Okay, that sounds about
That's
right.
reasonable. Actually, I like that.
And I'd
I
want to
take the
bet
over on
the
that.
under. And I'm
Hmm.
there, but the only reason is not the talent. It's just like the history. Like it's you know what I mean. Like no rookie quarterback ever throws that much. So to start the season, so week 1 they play Tennessee. They
Yeah,
play.
that's gonna be a tough game.
It's going to be a tough game. I think Tennessee's actually done. Their low key defensively could be a lot better.
And
Houston.
what Will Levis are you gonna get? Right? He could come out and
Actually,
Drop
Will Levis
40.
is going to be
I
pretty good
love I
this
love Will
season.
Levis. I love him because he's a cowboy anyway.
Yeah. Um, week 2 they got Houston. That's going to be a tough game.
That's gonna be a tough game.
Then they play Indy and then the Rams.
Also a very tough game and another tough game.
Yeah. I actually don't know about the Rams this season. We'll see. We'll see. I think they match up well against the Rams. Indy is going to be such a fucking wild card. Once we talk to them, so many different outcomes for them.
If Richardson comes back,
Yeah,
and plays the way that he was playing at the start of last season, that team is going to be fucking good.
yeah. So, I mean, while we're talking about the 8.5 is their season win total, I'm just trying to have a look at a couple of gimmies that they've got. They've got New England, that should be a gimme, and Washington they play. Jacksonville,
Yeah, yeah,
defensively not very good.
well,
It's hard to
yeah.
say.
Well, it'll still be a tight game. It's still gonna be a tight game.
They also play Seattle. I'm interested to talk about Seattle because I'm not sure.
They're god awful this year.
Nah, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, okay. We'll talk about my beloved Seahawks eventually
When we get there,
when we get there in a couple of months. So, yeah, I mean, I think that this team is well set up. I just want to have a quick shout out to a few of the defensive players that they added. So they added Tremaine Edmonds. I'm pretty sure halfway through the season last year, didn't they? Or at some
yeah,
point.
he was there. He was there by the end of the year. So
Yeah, Montez Sweat they added. That was a fantastic one. Kyler Gordon played very well last season. I don't think people were expecting him to play as well as he did. Obviously, I mentioned Jalen Johnson already. He, for me, is probably a top 5 corner in the league. Jaquan Brisker played really well as well. And then they've got pretty good depth as well there. So these corners, I think they're set up well. They brought in Kevin Byard from
great pickup.
Played for Tennessee.
He played for Tennessee. Yeah.
Yeah, he sort of dropped off a little bit as well, but I think he might bounce back because he was very good in Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, bunch of really, really good players. And then the offensive line is I think it's probably a top 5 line in the league. Like Darnell
It's a great team.
Played really fantastic last season. Nate Davis is good. Tevin Jenkins, Braxton Jones. Like that's a solid line.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think? 8.5?
It's right on the money. They got it right. They got it right. Did they finish with a winning record?
I'm gonna say no.
I'm gonna say
under.
I'm gonna say that I do not want to touch it.
So okay, they have to play Detroit twice, obviously.
It's gonna be
Minnesota
tough.
is interesting because they could be really bad this year.
They're gonna be bad. I can't see them being good.
And then let's say they win one against Green Bay, they lose one against Green Bay. They've also got to play San Francisco. That's going to be tough. Carolina defensively could be tough depending on how they go. We'll see.
Can in what world can you see them beating San Francisco?
Well, if you recall back to the 2022 season, week 1, when San Francisco came over to play the Bears in Chicago, and Bears won that game. So,
yeah. It's in San Fran though, right?
Is it? I actually don't know. I should put that in.
I think it is. Yeah, I think it is in San Fran.
Yeah. That's a tough one. It's tough. I'm staying away from that.
I'm just staying away from it. What's your pick? You got to have one here.
What am I taking for?
Yeah, for your future pick. Yeah, what'd you take one?
Because the Caleb Williams line is really a lot as well. I would take Keenan Allen probably under whatever his receiving line is.
I don't know what it is. Let's find out.
Oh man, I don't know, man. I don't know. This is tough. This is really tough because it's like, obviously I want Caleb Williams to be fantastic, but just betting against rookie quarterbacks is always such a safe bet.
Where do they have Keenan Allen?
He might not even be up because they're not sure. Do they have Rome there is what I want to know.
Yeah, they do. They have Rome.
What's his line?
His projected, I just passed it. It is, and like, he is 961 yards, 6 receiving touchdowns, 71 receptions.
Yeah,
They
That's
have Keen. They have Keen.
fair.
No, they have Keenan Allen finishing just ahead of Rome. Rome.
But
They have him at
both of those
nine
under.
33.
Yeah, under for both of them.
Yeah, I would take under on Keenan Allen here at
I definitely take under on Rome.
100%. Mm-hmm.
Like rookie
Yeah, I
receivers,
mean,
I
he might
understand
have
are a lot better
1,000
now than they
Yeah.
used to be, but he's got some stiff competition, and he's still a rookie receiver at the end of the day. I
Yep.
would have him for more like 600-700 yards.
And they have DJ Moore at 1,064. Now that's all going to depend on the relationship, right?
Yep. Yeah. I mean, obviously, no one in their right mind would be betting the overs on all three of them. So,
Well, but I mean, so take this into consideration. They've got DJ Moore at 1,000. They basically have Keenan Allen at 1,000, and then they have Rome at about 1,000. So
yeah.
that's 3,000 yards. Now,
Yeah.
Cole Kmet's probably going to give you 550, 600.
Yep. Gerald
So now you're
Everett.
30.
Or
Now you're 36. Now you're 3,600, and
DeAndre
now
Swift.
DeAndre Swift is probably going to give you another 300.
Yeah.
So that's technically there's 3,900 if you're going by what they're like.
Yeah.
And then you're not taking into consideration that Roschon Johnson's probably going to give you 180 to 200.
He's not that much of a pass catching back though.
Yeah, I give him 10 a game.
What did he go last year?
He'll be at 9.5 every single game, probably.
His running backs last year was just an absolute shit show because they had Khalil, Herbert, Roschon Johnson, Deontay Foreman, and every week
Foreman,
different guy, every single week.
Foreman was the cog in that one.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, his line. Roschon Johnson had a line of 20.5, and he was going over that often. So yeah, you're completely right.
Yeah, so I don't know, like that Caleb Williams line of like 3,800 doesn't seem too far off for me, but I think Keenan Allen will finish around 750. I think Rome will finish around 850, 900.
Yep.
I do think DJ Moore will probably eclipse 1,000.
Yeah, I do.
And then Swift will go. I still think that 3,800 is safe for me. I think $4,000 sounds about right.
Really?
But
yeah, I get it. I get it.
Yeah.
I can't do it.
That's fair. I mean, I'm not taking it. I just like Swift here.
Yeah. All right.
Moving on to my Bengals.
Let's do it, man.
Holy crap. Okay. So